On this episode of Sciencey Thing and Stuff, we're going to talk about black holes.
Hello. Didn't see you there. Well, now you're with us. We're going to talk about some fun facts about black holes.
Fun facts? What could possibly be fun about an object that even light itself can't even pass through?
Whoa. Don't be getting ahead of yourself now. Besides, you should be asking yourself, what is a fun fact about black holes? You should be asking yourself what isn't a fun fact about black holes. The answer to that question is nothing. After all, what isn't fun about black abyss from which nothing can escape?
So, from what I know, a black hole is an extremely packed object. In other words, it's got a lot of mass in a small amount of space, or singular. They're created when a massive star explodes and dies. The star collapses in on itself, and gravity is so strong that it rips through time and space. Nothing can escape it.
Wow, Alicia, you know your stuff. But do you know how big they are?
No, how big are they?
Well, you can't actually measure the size of a black hole. But everything that goes into a black hole gets squeezed or squozen. So black holes are typically very small. The central singularity, which is the space which all of this mass can compact into, is on the event horizon, which is a massive sphere that, measures not the size of it, but how close you can get into it without falling in. So you can pretty much estimate it.
So, then, let's just say by some crazy happenstance we were to fall in, is it possible for us to orbit a black hole?
That's a good question. I will explain it using a metaphor. Say we're on a ship, intending to investigate a black hole, right? If the ship's moving slowly around the black hole, we're guaranteed to be sucked in by the immense gravitational force. If, however, we move too quickly, the same force that could pull us in will push us away rapidly into the opposite direction. Therefore, you must reach a speed constant with that of the object's gravitational field in order to safely orbit the hole in the perfect circle.
Well, what would happen if someone fell into one?
Well, all you would see at first is a perfect circle of complete darkness. Then, you would notice that the stars that you'd usually see in the night sky are distorted. Suddenly, before you know it, the gravitational pull in your body would be so strong that it would stretch you apart before you could even reach the event horizon. Moral of the story is, don't go jumping into a black hole, especially a small one.
Wait, so how many black holes are there?
Billions, probably. Maybe trillions. Who knows, man? This is believed to be a supermassive black hole in the center of every galaxy, and even our own Milky Way galaxy. So these black holes, there's thought to maybe one day collide with each other, and when they do that, when ours does that, it's going to go with Andromeda, the one right next door.
Considering that two black holes colliding would normally create an even bigger hole, but the collision would be so violent that it would send ripples through the fabric of space and time, completely wiping us from the face of the universe!
Good God, man, that would be catastrophic.
Whoa. Everyone just calm the beep down. Alright?
How can I be calm?
Okay, that's assuming we last that long. And you know what happens when you assume, right? Hey, weren't the black holes discovered by John Mitchell and, what's his name? Pierre-Simon Laplace, I think, or Laplace? Something like that, in the 18th century?
Yeah, they did. And John Archibald Wheeler created the name black hole in 1967 because of the object's bottomless black nature.
Wow. You both really impressed me today. Well, we're off to do some more sciencey things. But next week, stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about aliens. Fact or fiction.
I don't know what you want me to do.
Do it!
You go.
Just imagine you had like a dog and you're fetching. If you're a dog, if you do that ball too close to that black hole, you wouldn't have a dog anymore. I'm sorry. If the Earth was compressed to the size of a peanut, it would become a black hole.
Okay.
If Mount Everest was compressed to the size of like a nanometer, it would become a black hole.
There goes Lloyd. There goes his brain.
Yep.
Do you want to play Valley Go? Because we can go Valley Go. If you want to go Valley Go, we could go Valley Go.
Gravity itself. Pause.
Jesus Christ, we're so close, guys. You just have to get it right after. You're going to be laughing maniacally. You're going to be laughing maniacally. You're going to be laughing maniacally.
Okay, so in order.
No. All the same. As soon as he says that, so what's fun, you know, as soon as he says that, you go.
Laugh right now.
Considering two black holes.
Yes, I know. I'm trying to get one into man.